Contenders won in the Premier League last weekend, but Arsenal's draw at Nottingham Forest meant they extended their lead over Manchester City and Aston Villa to 7 points, as both were unexpectedly beaten. So, will we see another twist this weekend? Jay Bothroyd still here for the next hour. We'll start with Arsenal, home game against Manchester United. We've been talking about this in the last hour. And Manchester United, we know that they are dangerous. But how disappointed would you be if Arsenal don't get all 3 points there?
We are talking about Man United here still, right? We're not talking about a team that's
Arsenal
like
7 points at the top
mid-table
of the league
team.
and at home.
Yes, but
on top of the Champions League.
Yeah, I know these things. But nevertheless, Man United still have very good players, individual players. But then Carrick's gone in there now and give them a new lease on life. They're playing with confidence. They're playing in a system that suits all of the players. He's got a good squad there as well. I just feel like in order for Arsenal to win that game, they need to be on top of their game. Whereas before, Arsenal could go and win that game in second gear. Now they have to be on top of their game. Carrick's got them believing in themselves. They've got some really good players there. Players are back from the African nations as well. So it's going to be a really tough game. And if you said to me, you know, is it disappointing if they don't win the game like you just have? No, it's not disappointing. I'd take a draw as well. Getting 1 point is good. We're talking about Man United. And I think it's not the Man United. I mean, I know it's only 2 weeks in the job. But again, I think Man United, with that in this system, will get more consistent performances out of themselves than in the 3-4-2-1 that Amorim was playing.
Now, all season Arsenal have been quite rightly praised for their squad depth, but Nwaneri's close to going out on loan. Alexander Zinchenko potentially joining Ajax. That would be a permanent deal. There's also clubs looking at Christian Norgard as well, only signed in the summer. So what does that tell you, one, about Arteta's confidence in the current squad? But then I also want to know what you think in particular about Ethan Nwaneri going.
Obviously, Arsenal's got one of the best squads in the world now. And he has that luxury now of letting players go out on loan if he feels so. When it comes to Ethan, I mean, Ethan's one of the best young players in the world. And I was in a bit of a similar situation as Ethan, and so was my youth team. When you're limited to minutes because the players in front of you are so good, it's hard to break into the first team. I mean, to be honest, listen, I support Arsenal, and you know, I was in the system myself, you know, from like 10 years old. But if you don't have a pathway into the first team, you have to play first team football somehow. The only way for Ethan now to go out and progress as a player is to play in men's football week in, week out. So I think it's a fantastic loan for him. I think going to play underneath De Zerbi is, again, a fantastic move for him. Marseille, huge club. I think Arteta and De Zerbi have similarities, as in high tempo, pressing. So I think it's a really good move. But I do feel like at Arsenal, you can't have two things. You can't bring through young players and be really successful. I think you have to sacrifice one for the other. And I feel like Arsenal right now are at the point where they're bringing in players that are going to perform right now, week in, week out. And then the likes of Max Dalmans, Nwaneri's, Miles Skelly's, people like that are going to play less and less because Arsenal need success right now.
So if they win the title, could they?
They're going to go and get better players again.
No, I was thinking if they win the title, they could then sell a couple of players and bring in, like Miles Skelly gets more minutes, Nwaneri takes someone's place.
Listen, especially Nwaneri. Again, I think Nwaneri is a fantastic player, and we've seen him put in fantastic performances. But right now, in the position that he plays in, he's got Saka in front of him, Madueke in front of him. When he plays central, he's got Odegaard in front of him. And whether you like it or not, people say, oh, but he's a young player, he can wait.
You can't
Players
say that
want to play. You can't say that. That's just a way for managers to kind of make excuses for you to sit there in the background and take your time. Because ultimately, as a player, whether you're 18 or you're 25, if you believe you're good enough, you want to play. And Ethan believes he's good enough and he does want to play. And the only way he can do that right now is by going on loan. So again, I think it's a fantastic move. I think we're going to see, we might see the likes of Miles Skelly leaving in the future because He's going to want to play. He was an England international, but he's not going to be going to the World Cup now because he's not playing. He's going to want to play for England. The only way he can do that is by playing. He's got Calafiori in front of him. He's got Incapia in front of him. You know, Timber plays in front of him at left back. So he's going to find it hard to break into the team. But again, that's just credit to what Arteta's brought into the club. He's turned Arsenal, and the question marks over Arsenal was always the depth in the squad. You know, no one really questioned the starting 11. It was the depth. The reason why Arsenal couldn't get over the line. Now Arsenal have the depth. There's no excuses. It's great for Arteta. It's great for Arsenal fans. And unfortunately, it's not that great for young players coming through. But ultimately, you know, you can have a really good football education just like I did. I had the Invincibles in front of me. How are you going to break through when you've got the Invincibles in front of you, the likes of Henry, Bergkamp, Kanu, or Vieira, all these kind of players, midfield? It's really, really hard. But nevertheless, you get a great football education while you're doing it.
Well, that's what happened with Mark Gahey at Chelsea. He's now, having gone to other clubs on loan, then to Crystal Palace, he's now at Manchester City. How important is he going to be for Manchester City in this title race? They've got Wolves, by the way, 3 o'clock tomorrow.
He's huge. Because as much as we talk about Man City, how they attack, how they keep the ball, they look really, really vulnerable every time another team attacks or play counter-attack football. Kusanov, young player. I think he's a good player and I think he will come good. But right now, he's not ready to step into that back four and play week in, week out. Alien, is that how you pronounce his name? Come from Watford, young player again. Very good player. Very good player. But is he ready to play week in, week out right now? I don't think so. O'Reilly, not a natural left back. You know, Gvardiol's injured. Gay coming in now is absolutely key. He needs to go in there. Even if everyone was fit, it'd probably be the best centre-back anyway.
But they could move Gvardiol to left back, couldn't they?
But he would probably be the best centre-back right now. He's athletic. You know, he's good on the ball. He's intelligent. He reads the game well. I mean, when you see him play at the Euros, he's probably England's best player at the Euros last year. So he is a great signing. They probably had to pay more money in terms of wages than they would have liked to, but that's the cost of getting someone now compared to waiting at the end of the season.
A quick one on Aston Villa. I know we spoke about them in the last hour, but if they can win away at Newcastle, which not many clubs do, Man City didn't, Arsenal did in the last minute, didn't they? Can you see people starting to believe? Because that would be a big win.
That's what I said. I mean, I'm one of them. You know, like when we've seen Chelsea in that kind of position before where they were second, you know, I got asked a question, are Chelsea in a title race? And it was, no, they're not. I don't think they are. But I think Aston Villa are a little bit different. Aston Villa, you know, they're difficult to break down. I know they've got injuries now, so that's going to take its toll, especially because they're playing in Europe. And obviously, clearly, Emery wants to bring bodies in. He needs players to come in. But Emery's capable of doing that. We see it last year with Rashford and Asensio coming in. So he's able to attract players. He has that kind of cachet where players will think, you know what, I want to play for him as a manager. It's going to be difficult, but it'll definitely be a big statement. I don't see them winning the title, but I definitely see them, if they can win this game, I think they'll be like, you know, at the bare minimum third.
Okay, well,
I'm going to pick up on something Jason said about Mikel Arteta looking more relaxed. I was at his news conference before the Olympiacos game, and it's something that resonated with me as well. I joked about handbrake with Julian, and previously that might have irked Mikel Arteta, but he took that with a smile, as he seems to be doing with a lot of the questions that are being posed to him. Is that kind of demeanour rubbing off on his players, do you think?
Well, it has an impact, definitely. I mean, this is his 300th game. That's a lot of football matches, and it's such a huge club. Again, we're talking about huge football clubs here today, and we're talking about individual managers, and the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And I think, you know, we've all covered Arsenal for many, many years, and there's always seemed to be one big narrative that's hindered them over the years, hasn't it? Whether it was towards the end of Arsene Wenger's time or whether it was the lack of a striker last season. There's always been the one thing that they just needed to fix. And it just feels now as though those issues have been dealt with, whatever they were, and that all the different parts are there and being put in place. And the fact that Saka, if you can just keep him fit, but they have all the right players available to them. They've recruited really well. They've got a good manager who now looks comfortable in his own skin. the fan base, everybody starts to believe. And also the fact that Liverpool are having a wobble and the fact that Manchester City are still trying to get back to where they were. They've had their issues as well. Now's the time really for Arsenal to put all those bits together and to make the jigsaw complete and to go and win the league or the Champions League or both.